Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retro Warriors episode 534.
Woo!
As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by viable human Chris Saturn.
How's your old balls, Justin?
Oh, they're old and good. Like a fine wine, they age. Second show energy, I guess, is where we're going to be.
There's a dude, when I was younger, me and my friends used to hang out at IHOP a lot because that's what you do when you're in your 20s, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I was in my late teens and early 20s at some time. I've been in IHOP many times.
We were there every night for years. But we there was another regular guy who was in his 70s, and for some reason, because his name was also Chris, we needed some way to distinguish him, and somebody decided we should call him Old Balls Chris. I don't, for the life of me, remember why he was Old Balls anymore.
Well, I can explain it. It's because he's a lot older than you, so his balls are also older than you.
They were. It's also true.
So when they say the Chris with old balls, they know that it would be the old one.
I think it was because he had told us a story one time about how when you get old, your balls start sticking to things.
Well, like countertops and shit? What does that mean?
I think he meant chairs and pants legs and stuff, but I don't remember the story anymore. If your balls are
sticking to a chair, then you were sitting in a chair naked, and I already have questions.
Yeah, I just remember us calling him Old Balls. That's all I remember. Anyway, sorry, I distracted you.
I got to chapter 5 in Trails of Cold Steel. There are 6 chapters in the game, one and a epilogue or whatever.
Final chapter. The final chapter is the longest chapter.
Oh, is it? Okay then.
Oh yeah.
I got to chapter 5 and then got fed up with the weird janky issues I kept having and restarted the entire game on PS5.
Totally normal.
I was about 30 hours in, and I was like, I guess I'm re-fucking doing this.
Could you imagine somebody playing that whole game multiple times back to back? What kind of lunatic would do that? That would be so insane,
right, Saturn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I restarted. To the game's credit, with fast forward and everything, it only took me about 15 hours to get back to where I was because there's a lot of story in these games.
Oh, yeah.
But I also realized that there are, because I kept wondering why my grades, whenever you finish a chapter, you get a grade, and it was always like they were like B pluses, and I was like, I'm doing all the quests, I'm doing everything I can find.
Are you?
Turns out there are secret quests in these games, and I didn't realize that.
Yes.
And on my repeat playthrough, I realized it right after chapter 1. And so I was in this situation of like, do I restart a third time? Is this what I'm doing with my life? And I was like, I finally decided, no, fuck it. I'll just have missed some stuff.
I mean, there's some stuff you can't do until New Game Plus anyway.
Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, if I really want to, I'll New Game Plus it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. My problem is that you have to scan every enemy.
Correct.
To get like 100% it or whatever. I will not do that. No.
Well, that's only for the achievements, though. That's if you're trying to do 100% achievements, you have to scan every enemy.
That's insanely.
If you don't care about
tedious.
achievements, then ignore that.
Although there is that little not materia quartz that auto scans everyone when you defeat an enemy.
When you kill them,
Just have to leave that on and then make sure that person's always there. Put it on Reen. Now I'm just strategizing how I'm going to do my third playthrough. I'm like getting desperately close to the end of the game. I'm nearing the end of chapter 5.
Okay.
No, the end of chapter 6. I finished chapter 5. I'm nearing the end of chapter. I'm in Rower right now. And so I'm coming up on what?
Ruhr.
Ruhr?
Ruhr.
I don't think that's right.
Just how I choose to pronounce it. Ruhr.
So I'm there. I'm coming up on what seems like the end of that chapter, and so then I'll have the final chapter, and finally have finished one Trails game.
Nice.
And it's I'm struggling because I'm like, man, the Sky remake just came out and it's sitting on my shelf, and I'd love to be playing that. It looks so cool, but I've got part 2 of Cold Steel.
Yeah.
And so
see where you're at when you finish Cold Steel 1, because if you are not immediately feeling the need to move on to Cold Steel 2, 1, what is wrong with you? Because that cliffhanger is harrowing.
Yeah.
And 2, if you are immune to cliffhangers, then go play Sky, whatever.
I kind of am, honestly. When it comes to story, I'm like, I guess it ended there. Let's move on with life.
No, it doesn't end at all.
But I will say, I will say all of this has brought me to a point where I don't know that I fully would recommend the GOG version of the game. I've just lost too much progress too many times.
Well, how much of it was your mods, though?
I don't know. I played on PC and Linux. I did have mods both times, but it's just the little, I forget what they even call the mod program. But the thing that it does is, here's my thing. If it is the mods, that sucks a lot because the turbo mode is not a toggle in the PC version.
Right.
And having turbo mode toggled is kind of pretty necessary for this game not to be insanely slow.
I just held the button the whole time when I played it on PC.
Yeah, I don't want to hold a button for 90 hours. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that kind of ruined an Xbox controller or 3 like that.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't recommend the game without the mods. So if it is the mods that were causing my crashes and stuff, I kind of don't recommend that version of the game. I think is kind of where I landed. Like not in like it's fucking broken trash. Like I could have finished the game. I made it all the way to chapter 5. I had multiple crashes and lost saves and lost progress. And also the PS4 version of the game is easier because on PC, when you turn turbo on, the enemies also move at turbo speed.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you remember in our episode, I was like, I can't ever get the advantage attack on any enemies. How do you do it?
Yeah.
And now I'm on the PS4 version. I can get it almost every time.
Yeah.
And so
are you using a ranged person?
I am, but even then on PC with turbo on, so then you have to turn turbo off, and it's just So in that way,
also the turbo outside of battle is a little too fast on PC, and I think you can.
With the mods, you can set it wherever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think even on the base game, you can set in battle speed versus out of battle speed separately.
I was running into control issues and mouse issues and just weird stuff to the point that like I don't know that I'd recommend the PC version. Presuming it's the same as the Steam version. I don't. They made the Steam and GOG version. Okay, then I would definitely, for anyone that's just to follow up on that episode, anyone that's curious, definitely I personally would prefer or recommend the PlayStation versions for sure.
PS4 specifically. The PS3 version, I don't know that I would recommend anymore.
Yeah, PS4 specifically seems to be the best version. Having played 30-something hours of it on PC, it feels night and day better on PS4 by a lot. So
the Switch version might be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget there's a Switch version too, which presumably is
only in Japan.
Pretty. Oh yeah, well then you gotta learn Japanese too.
Yeah, you gotta learn Japanese.
Play that. So just throwing it out there because we did 2 episodes on it. We spoiler, may have another episode coming up on it. I wanted to put out there that if you were wanting to play along and you were looking which version to start, I really would push you toward the PS4 version, which at time of recording is still in stock physically at Video Games Plus, the Canadian retailer. They got some reprints, so you can purchase it there, and it's relatively affordable. It's not too. It's like below MSRP, so
nice.
It's an option. Other than that, just kind of mainlining Trails of Cold Steel. Every now and then I'll get bored of playing too many hours of that in a row, and I'll go play something else. So I have a big list of stuff I've casually been kind of playing. Everybody's Golf, the PS4 version, been playing that. Get my golf fix. Pretty fun. Not the new one. The new one is Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
Oh, that's right.
This is the PS4 version of Everybody's Golf. That came out a few years ago. It's fun. Yeah. Still pecking away at the Spider-Man. Enjoying that. It's a good time. I played some of the Bluey video game with my daughter. It's trash.
Okay, yeah.
I played this game called Fogs with my daughter where you're just so imagine cat dog.
It's like dog noodles.
Yeah, you're dog noodles. And each of you controls
I played this on
a head.
Game Pass.
Yeah, me and my daughter played some of that, and that was a cute little indie game. It's on PlayStation Plus. Also, I was like, every now and then I get in the mood where I'm like, I want to see what's up with the AAA gaming space. So I played I wrote the wrong game here. Played some Diablo 4 on PS5 because it's on the PlayStation Plus. And restarted with the seasonal thing, and I'm doing a Necromancer and having more fun with it than I did the last time I played. I don't know if it's because I just really like Necromancer or if they've kind of improved sort of the flow of things a little bit.
Who knows?
Still not totally in love with the fact that there's a cash shop in a AAA game that you have to pay for, which is fucking bullshit. And then I also was like, I kind of, I like the shooty gun games, but I'm real picky about the shooty gun games because I don't want to play a shooty gun game with internet shitlords. I want to play a shooty gun game where I'm playing against the computer.
Against robots.
And that's almost impossible to find in shooty gun game world. I don't know if you know this about shooty gun games.
I do not know.
So,
nothing about shooty gun games.
if you buy the newest Call of Duty and you're like, I don't want to play against a bunch of shitheads online. I just want to shoot guns against bots and do little bot matches, just like Unreal Tournament or Quake or whatever else, right? You can't do that.
That's dumb.
Doesn't exist.
Weird. Why?
And the new Battlefield was coming out, and I was like, I played Battlefield 2 back in the day, and I really liked that one, and I liked Battlefield Vietnam. And I was like, well, maybe the Battlefields will be where I want to be. I've played a little bit of 3 and 4, and I like those. They were okay. And so I downloaded the last Battlefield is on PlayStation Plus. And so 6 is coming out, so of course I downloaded the previous game, which is, of course, entitled Battlefield 2042.
Yeah, that's how numbers work, yeah.
And was playing that, and I will say this, they do have bot modes, like co-op and solo bot modes, so you can play the game against bots, which is what I want. I just want to, like, get it in a game and shoot a machine gun and drive a tank around and not have to fucking deal with other human beings. That's all I want to do.
Wasn't the first Battlefield game called Battlefield 1942?
Yeah, it was. And 1942 is really fun. It was a really fun game.
Okay. So this one is presumably 100 games after that.
Yeah, they made 100 of them. They probably almost have. But I'm playing Diablo 4 and Battlefield 2042, like a real deal, like current AAA games. I am so upset at the sad fucking state of video games. If your game has a fucking cash shop, Battlefield is Diablo, like there's a cash shop, but it's like you kind of got to go over to the tab that says shop. They're going to put a little blinky light next to it because they want you to go there. But it's a little tucked away. Battlefield, you feel like you're logging into like a fucking website from 2007 without an ad blocker just to go to the main fucking menu.
Ugh.
It's bad. Ads everywhere, store shit everywhere. Here's your fucking battle pass. Here's this thing. Here's cash shop. Here's purchases. It's insane.
Ugh.
And I'm sure that a lot of people that play these AAA games are probably desensitized to it, because every game is like this now.
Right.
But I was just taken aback at the amount of fucking shit that is thrown in my face.
Gross.
When all I'm looking for is the option on the menu that says play versus bots. And so I was.
But what if you need a nice looking gun so that the bots don't judge you?
It's just so I hate it. Now, granted, I like the game. It's a fun game if you like shooty gun games, and I like driving tanks. Tanks is fun. I like driving tanks in games, and then you can drive around in a tank. And I shot a helicopter with a tank, and it exploded, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a good time. But also, I always liked Battlefield because they do the conquest modes. Kind of the same way Unreal Tournament 04 did, where like there's points, and you have to like go capture the point. And you like drive your vehicle over and you capture the points and stuff. I like that better than like, I've never been a big like team deathmatch person in shooter games. So yeah, that's stuff I've been playing. Also, I wanted to follow up on a third part of my PlayStation Portal review.
Oh yeah. Has it stopped sucking now?
So what happened was I had set up new access points, and one of my access points, instead of being connected directly to my router and repeating the signal, was repeating the signal of another access point. And that was the one in my bedroom, and it was affecting my Wi-Fi, which was making my Portal perform piss poor.
Oof.
And so I fixed that, and now it performs as good as the Portal can. And I'm phrasing it that way because it's still not awesome.
Yeah.
It's still at least once every session, I get the thing that's like slow connection speed. Now I don't have the newest routers or whatever, but it's a Wi-Fi 5 network. Like it meets the minimum requirements. And also I still wouldn't trust it for action games. It's been good for Cold Steel. Not nearly as rock solid reliable as my PS4 streaming my PS5 to it. So my review remains, it is sufficient. But I feel like on the show I had mentioned maybe that it seemed a little shittier than it actually is because my network was being shitty. But also still, it kind of doesn't change my review at all. It's still exactly sufficient. It does precisely what it says and no more.
Have you played with Chiaki at all?
I have not, no. For a couple days in the interim between shows, I went back to Parsec for a minute just to see what had happened with that.
Well, Chucky is specifically PlayStation.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's basically just the PlayStation Remote Play, but ported to Linux.
Yeah.
And it works as well as any other PlayStation Remote Play. I'll use that on my laptop sometimes, but I also every single time get the low connection warning every session.
I did play some Portal via 5G on my phone over the internet, and that was a travesty. It was hard to even play Cold Steel, which is a fully turn-based game. It dropped connection a bunch. Granted, I don't have great internet. It's 5G, it's whatever, but I think also my internet is still in the grand scheme of the average internet speeds of our country, adequate enough that it should be able to do basic tasks.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad that stuff keeps coming out that I just don't have access to using in an efficient or effective way.
Yeah, that's pretty frustrating.
But yeah, PlayStation Portal, it is exactly what it says it is and probably should be cheaper.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if this was $100, I'd be like, slam fucking dunk, outstanding device. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's the price that I would be willing to pay for it. $100,
$200,
maybe $150.
Yeah, I don't have regret, but if it was any worse, I would have regret.
Yeah.
Saturn, what have you been playing? Definitely not the new Silent Hill, right? None of that?
Oh
None
my
of that
God, the new
going on?
Silent Hill. So
is it good?
Silent Hill came out.
Okay, yeah.
So I have mixed
no.
opinions so far.
You didn't immediately enthusiastically say yes.
Yeah, that's true. Like I did with Silent Hill 2 Remake.
No.
So this one, I would say that as a game, it is very good. Very good. As a horror game, it is very good. I've yet to feel anything particularly Silent Hill-y in it.
Oh, so it's just kind of a generic horror game.
Yeah, I like it. There are some things that like I can say, oh, that feels like a reference to Silent Hill, but it doesn't feel like it is it doesn't feel like it's part of the same series. Like there's enough that is different. Like you have a limited item space instead of infinite inventory, which is different. You have a much heavier emphasis on combat. It doesn't take place in the town of Silent Hill at all and never even references it.
Okay.
So it's just kind of strange as far as its connection to the rest of the series. The combat bothers me a bit because it is very heavy combat.
Okay.
I know beforehand a lot of people were saying it was like Souls-like combat, and I don't know enough to say that definitively. I will say it has that very slow-paced, deliberate style combat.
Okay.
Where you're spending more time observing the enemy, dodging, counterattacking, than just running up to it and hitting it.
That sounds Soulsy.
Yeah, they don't all respawn every time you save though, which is good. So it doesn't have that part of the Souls-like experience. They are hard as shit though. Like every enemy hits like a truck and takes a lot of attacks to take down. Also, it has weapon durability, which I'm not a fan of.
Oh.
Especially in a horror game.
Because there's a lot of shit that Saturn does not go in for.
Yes. So like I got my steel pipe at the beginning of the game. That's what I was after. It's a Silent Hill game. I want to have a steel pipe. I don't want to hit things with it. So I get my steel pipe, and like 4 enemies in, she's like, "This will break soon." I'm like, "Wait, what? What did you just say?"
It's a steel pipe. How hard are you hitting them?
Right? And then like 2 enemies later, it dissolved. And you can only hold 3 weapons at a time. So you got to make them count. Fortunately, you can run from most enemies. And I do appreciate the first enemy that you encounter, like the little pop-up came up that I was expecting it to teach me how to fight things. And it shows me how to dodge. And I'm like, cool. I'm going to dodge, and then I'm going to grab a weapon, then I'm going to fight back. And then after it taught me how to dodge, it's just coming at me, and I'm like dodging it left and right. Just dodge. I'm like, all right, when is it going to teach me how to fight? Oh, it's not. I got to run. And so I just ran away from it. And that's like for the first several enemies you encounter, you don't have a weapon. You have no way to fight back. It is just running away, which I appreciate that. I feel like that fits the horror theme really well.
Sure.
And I did learn they're kind of idiots. If you get like 2 corners away from them and then just stop, they think that you're dead and they turn around and go a different direction.
Okay.
And I appreciate that greatly. Eventually, I got a tooltip that told me that. It was like, if you get out of their eyesight, they will ignore you. But I appreciate that. So I'm still kind of on the fence as far as where I land on the game as a whole. I think as a horror game, it's fine. I'm not 100% sold on the combat yet, but there's so many ways that you can avoid the combat that I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I still am just confused as to why it is called Silent Hill F. One, because I don't know what the F stands for, and two, I don't know what the Silent Hill stands for. So, but other than that, it seems like it's a good game, and I'm going to keep plugging away at it.
Yeah, but just doesn't quite scratch that Silent Hill itch.
Not yet. We'll see. Like it does have the whole transition thing, like Silent Hill does, where it goes from the regular world to the dark, creepy world.
Maybe that's the only connection. Maybe they're just
Right, but in most Silent Hill games, it's like the darker, creepier version of the area you were just in. Whereas in this one, when it happens, you seem to like get transported to a completely different place.
Oh,
yeah. So it's just like, well, that's strange. Now I'm here.
All right then. Do you think that maybe Konami just wanted to do a Souls-like, and they're like, well, let's slap something on it and make it horror-y and call it Silent Hill?
I don't know that I would say it is Souls-like-y from what I've seen anyway. And again, I'm not an expert on the Souls series either. So I might just not be seeing that element of it, but it feels a little more narrative linear-y to me than what I have heard of anyway from the Souls games.
Yeah. I mean, Souls games are, well, you can kind of go different routes, but at least the first one is pretty much like, here's the point A to point B linear, you run through it, but story heavy it is not.
Yeah. This is very, very story heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, also, if anybody wants to start playing the game, there is a very intricate trigger warning screen at the beginning of the game, and you should listen to it.
Oh,
because,
no.
It's
so fucking around.
It takes place in 60s Japan, and the very first scene is the young woman that you play as being verbally abused by her father, and her mother apologizing on her father's behalf and trying to defend him.
Oh.
And then, like, as soon as you leave the house, as you're exploring the town, before everything gets all creepy, you encounter a magazine of the era, and when you select it and it does the detail on it, it's immediately like, if you want to have a happy husband, be subservient. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
You found a new way to creep me out, Silent Hill.
Yeah. We'll creep you out the way your old creepy uncle does.
Right? So, it is uncomfortable at times, which I think it's trying to be. So that's fair.
Let's do some news.
Okay.
First up, Valve is ending support for 32-bit Windows on January 1st. If you're still on 32-bit Windows, what's the past like? Is it nice? Is it nice back there?
How's SimCity 4, guys? Still good?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. Xbox is raising prices on hardware again.
Second time in less than a year.
Series S will be $400. 1 terabyte Series S will be $450. Series X will be $650. Series X without optical drive, which I for some reason forgot they even had, will be $600. And a 2 terabyte Series X will be $800 fucking dollars.
This is the first time I've ever bought a console and had it go up in value.
I know. I feel like a genius for buying all this shit before.
Yeah, I have a 2 terabyte Series X, and I paid $550 for it.
Man, I have no words for the games industry right now. It's a tough time.
Disgusting.
I hope that years from now, when we're all playing on our PlayStation 9s and Xbox whatevers and Nintendo Game Boy 3 or whatever fucking is going on, we all look back and we're like, man, you remember that time when everything was going up in value and it was kind of crazy and shit kept getting more expensive instead of cheaper? But I kind of suspect that won't happen.
It's hard to say, because 20 years ago, we never would have thought this would have happened.
This is true. This is true. Costco and Sam's Club quietly removed the Xbox sections from their US and UK websites and are reducing/removing in-store product, which, not shocking.
Not a great sign.
Yeah, Xbox is not really hitting it out of the park on the physical game stuff.
Well, this is for consoles.
Well, yeah, I presume they're doing consoles and any games that they would have as well.
And also the little gift card things. They're getting rid of those too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're not even going to carry gift cards anymore. The 2 terabyte Series X, I saw a picture on clearance at a Costco for $379. So if you want one,
Oh shit! There you go. The place to go.
right?
Nintendo announced they're outsourcing their customer support just before the Switch 2's first holiday season, resulting in the layoffs of hundreds of employees and contractors.
Good job, Nintendo. That was one of the few things that universally was praised about Nintendo.
They always did have good support. The few times I had contact them, even when I was a kid and I had contact them, they were extremely helpful. You got to talk to an actual person. They were always very nice and professional. So this is kind of
music was always Zelda.
This is kind of a really shitty thing to have happen to a company like this. This is was kind of one of the things they're known for is like good customer support lines.
And having it happen right before the Switch 2's first holiday season when people will inevitably have problems with it.
Yep.
That's shitty.
Seems dumb.
Yeah.
Dwarf Fortress is getting a physical release with a bunch of feelies from Serenity Forge, and I can't figure out what to do. It's $150 and it comes with plushies and bottle openers and shit. Like, I don't fucking need that stuff, but I want a physical copy of Dwarf Fortress.
So they may also release a standalone because Serenity Forge did the same thing for Doki Doki Literature Club, where they had originally announced that it was going to be the big collector's edition, but then they also released just the game with some stickers.
But also, I want all the shit because I first of all, I've bought Dwarf Fortress 5 times.
Yeah, including
I bought it for everyone on staff for Christmas. Yeah. I have the Dwarf Fortress mat on my desk right now. I have the hat. I have the pin. I have all the Dwarf Fortress stuff.
I have the tattoo on your balls.
I love Dwarf Fortress. So I said, but it's $150, and it's like, do I $150 need a game I own so many times over and have been playing for nearly 20 years? Do I really?
I will say the Serenity Forge makes good stuff. The little stickers that came with Doki Doki Literature Club were adorable.
I'm torn, but you should all buy it. Everyone that hasn't already spent way more than $150 on Dwarf Fortress. Oh, I have the guides. I have the journal of the Dwarf Fortress journal, Saturn.
You have an
I have everything but the fucking bed sheets, and if they release them, I'd buy them. Everyone else, please buy it. Please support Dwarf Fortress. It's a good game. Hideo Kojima and MUFG Bank have announced the official Hideo Kojima credit card.
Why?
I don't fucking know, man.
I don't understand this one even a little. Like I understand a lot of themed credit cards. Like your Disney card gets you some points to spend at Disney. I get that. Your Xbox card gets you Xbox points. What do you get with this?
Like, at least if it was like the Death Stranding credit card, like a Kojima thing that he did, but it's just him.
Yeah, even if it was a Kojima Productions card,
Kojima.
It's him. It's just the Hideo Kojima card.
Well, when you buy shit with it, he gets points.
Yeah, he gets a free Disney vacation.
It's so fucking stupid. I have no idea. It does make me worry about Kojima. It kind of sounds like he got fucking scammed or like pulled into some bullshit ass. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I would understand it more if it was like Hideo Kojima crypto bucks.
They must have
the Hideo Kojima credit card.
They must have offered him so much money,
right?
But also, why? Why him? Why would you offer him all the money?
None of it.
You could have got a sports guy or an actual celebrity, or
I think MUFG Bank is a Japanese bank.
Is he that popular in Japan?
I don't know.
Does Japan not have actual celebrities? They got to lean on Hideo Kojima. Granted, I think he's he's made some pretty cool shit. He's a pretty notable person in the video games industry. That'd be like if we released a Jeff Keighley credit card in the US. New from Citibank, the Jeff Keighley credit card. Like, why?
You get free Mountain Dew points with it.
Why? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Google Gemini will now offer live tips and help for Android games as you play. Who fucking cares?
I think it was somebody in our Discord server described it as Clippy for Android games.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I want to know if I'm playing Pixel Remaster on Android, if it'll like tell me where to go and shit.
It better.
Yeah, I doubt it would.
The pop-up showed it giving tips on how to set your team together for a FIFA game or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's probably only going to support like 5 fucking games.
I don't know. It's Google Gemini. It can always just artificially fabricate an answer for something.
Yeah. Sony had their State of Play
Yes.
event. They announced a few things. First of all, Deus Ex is getting a remaster on modern consoles, coming to Steam, Xbox, everything,
Yep.
PlayStation. And pretty immediately fans were upset because they found it to be pretty butt ugly.
It's a little ugly, yeah.
It doesn't. The original game is already so ugly that I guess it didn't faze me. I was like, it's ugly. The original game's ugly. They up-resed the ugly. Like, it's more ugly.
This is being done by
Asper.
Aspire, the same guys that did the recent Tomb Raider remaster and the recent Soul Reaver remaster, which were also all IDOS games, just like Deus Ex.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by it because that's basically what those looked like.
I have seen some people kind of scrutinizing the screenshots, and there's like misspelled stuff on the wall in the background and things. So it's there have been some indicators of sloppiness. Yeah. I'm theoretically excited at the idea, but we'll
see how the
judgment.
Controls play out.
What I will not reserve judgment on is Dynasty Warriors 3 Remaster, which is the most exciting announcement of this State of Play for me.
Yeah.
I fucking love Dynasty Warriors 3. For anyone that has never played Dynasty Warriors 3, or maybe people that don't want to play Dynasty Warriors 3, please go to YouTube and look up the cutscenes. It is the worst voice acting I've ever heard in my entire life. It is so fucking funny. I still laugh at it. It's incredible. It rides that perfect line of like, I can't tell if they were this bad or if they were just fucking with them. I cannot tell if it's that perfect, like, it is the Andy Kaufman of voice performances. You have no idea what is and isn't the joke, or if they are in on it or aren't.
That era of Koei localizations was pretty weird.
But also Dynasty Warriors 3 is just a good Dynasty Warriors games. If you do like Dynasty Warriors games, it's a really good one. And I enjoy it, and you should play it. Tekken 3, Soul Calibur 3, and Tomb Raider Anniversary added to PlayStation Plus. If you want to rent those games, as long as you have a subscription, you can play those.
You can also purchase digital copies that you can rent for long.
That's true. Unlike Nintendo, they do let you purchase digital licenses to play them for potentially a longer period.
Yeah.
And then they had a very brief hardware announcement. And they bring some hardware on screen, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? Speakers. Wireless speakers. I will say this, the PlayStation Link audio thing looks like a pretty cool tech.
Sure.
I can't afford any of the audio devices that fucking use it.
Right.
But it looks like cool tech, and I've heard it's really cool tech, because gaming audio is a problem. It's problematic. Like Bluetooth inherently has a noticeable lag for gaming purposes a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So 2.4 gigahertz is still kind of the default, which means dongles, and so the actual tech looks cool, but also who cares?
Yeah. How much did they say they were?
I don't even remember. I was driving when it was
like
happening.
$250 or something.
I had it in my ear, and I was listening to it while I was driving my kid to art lessons, so I didn't get to watch it. I saw like the beginning of it, and then I was like, all right, we got to go. And then I heard the rest of it. My favorite was they were like, it'll work with a PlayStation Portal. I'm like, who the fuck is going to sit there holding their PlayStation Portal in between stereo speakers? So fucking weird.
Yeah.
They also showed off the new Wolverine game, Insomniac's Wolverine game.
Yeah, I didn't put any of the new stuff in the notes because I figured those are new games and we don't normally talk about that.
That's true.
But yeah, they did show a couple of other things that are fine.
Yeah, there's a few things.
Yeah.
Malware was added to a game on Steam that will empty unsecured crypto wallets, as proven on a live Twitch stream where bad actors stole $32,000 from a streamer's cancer treatment fund.
What horrible things people are.
First
of
all,
be done with people.
Can we also be done with the fact that cancer patients need to come up with $32,000 for their fucking...
Jesus Christ.
Can we be done with literally every aspect of this?
Yes, every
single portion of it. People stealing... I fucking hate the future.
Yeah.
Take care of sick people and quit stealing shit. Can we just fucking do this just as a society?
Some dude donated the $32,000 back to help the person get back, but that shouldn't have had to happen. None of that should have had to happen.
Literally none of it should have happened.
Yeah.
I hate all of this. I hate every portion of this.
Don't watch the video of it, by the way. Just don't watch the video.
Don't watch the video.
It's
it is
devastating.
fucking soul crushing because they're
Yeah.
live on camera when they realize what happened, and it was
Yeah.
terrible.
It's just awful.
My God, it was just. I'm glad they got the money back though.
Right.
I hope it makes a big
Yeah, I hope it
impact
makes the
for them.
difference. Yeah.
God damn it. Hideo Kojima says he wants to scan actual ghosts for his upcoming horror game, OD. The problem is, Kojima, the problem is that ghosts don't exist.
Well, what if he like mocaps them? Would that
You
be
can't. Could he mocap a unicorn?
okay? What if he
Or
just
a
gets
leprechaun?
What if he just gets some audio recording? Would that be all right?
I'm waiting for the episode of Ghost Hunters where fucking Hideo Kojima's there trying to mocap a ghost that's haunting some lady that's like, please leave my home. And he's like, be still. We need to get you. Norman Reedus is going to come in from over here, so I need you to. No, not now, Jeff Keighley. Leave me alone.
This is the game he's working on with Jordan Peele, and so I am actually kind of interested in this because I like Jordan Peele's horror movies.
Yeah.
God, just this is the stupidest headline that I've seen in a while.
Is it as stupid as he just announced his official Hideo Kojima credit card?
It makes more sense than the credit card, but it might be stupider than the credit card.
All right, we got to fire through the rest of this news. We're going long.
Real quick, I looked up the price. It is between $250 and $300 for the speakers.
Why is it a range?
Because they haven't definitively plugged in the price. That's the estimated price. Why did they fucking
announce them, Sony?
Yes.
God damn it. Well, at least that's the last complaint I have to have about Sony tonight.
Surely, yeah.
The Raspberry Pi 500 Plus has been officially announced. They bumped the RAM up to 16 gigabytes. It comes with the built-in M.2 slot with a 256 gig SSD in it, and it is a fully low-profile mechanical Gateron Blue Switch keyboard.
Which one of those words did you make up?
I've already purchased one. I can't wait. I'm most excited.
It does look neat.
It also has full RGB lighting, so it goes faster. Doug Bowser is retiring from Nintendo of America after 6 years. It feels really soon. Devin Pritchard will take over as the new president of NOA. I don't know anything about her. So
I don't either. I wish her luck.
Really, I didn't know anything about Doug Bowser. He was not as prominent as Reggie. So
here's the thing. Doug Bowser was there for between 6 and 7 years. Reggie was there for 13 years.
Yeah.
So he was there for about half of the time that Reggie was there, but it feels like Reggie was there for about 10 times longer.
It does. Reggie really defined the Wii era. He was really front and center for a lot of it, and I think
Doug Bowser just had the bad luck of, one, following Reggie and kind of Iwata.
Yeah.
And two, being there right when the Switch took off, and it was already, a blockbuster item, so he didn't need to be out there selling it. It was already selling itself.
Yeah.
So he just kind of got to sit in the background.
Yeah. Also, TGS is starting right now, so that's why we have no TGS news, but we still somehow went over on news. So let's get to the topic at hand, which is Sony.
Who is that?
Oh, Sony. They're the people that make cheap stereos in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. In the 80s and the 70s.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they were never cheap. They were always expensive stereos.
Cheap quality.
Okay, there you go.
I learned in the world of hi-fi stereos, people are like, oh, you got a Sony and it's from the late 90s? That's trash. As I was trying to fix my late 90s Sony receiver at one point. People are like, oh, just throw it in the garbage. Yeah. Scope, we are only focusing on the video game side of Sony because we ain't got all night.
Right.
And we will mostly focus on the pre-PlayStation period and the early PlayStation period. Their modern presence is definitely kind of more of a known quantity. Yeah. And really everything like PS2 forward would need to be its own episode because it's nuts.
Really, you have separate episodes about different eras of Sony,
realistically.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Note for young people, Sony used to be best known for making stereos and other electronics. And we have some... And the Walkman, very well known for the Walkman. And we have some quick facts about Sony before we get into first thoughts.
Yep.
Founded as an electronics shop in a department store in Tokyo in 1946, The original name, Tokyo Tsushin Kogyo, was changed to Sony in 1958 to appeal to an international market. That was smart because I can barely pronounce that.
Yep.
The first Sony branded product, a radio, was released by the company 2 years earlier in 1956.
Mhm.
They're well known for the Walkman, the Betamax VCR, which we all finally remember, and helping to develop the CD, DVD, and Blu-ray formats. And they're the largest video game company in the world by revenue, beating Microsoft and Tencent, which I think recently flipped over from Tencent to Sony.
I believe so,
Because wasn't it Tencent for a few years there, and then it flip-flopped?
I believe so, and now it is Sony in first place, then Microsoft, then Tencent.
Yeah. As far as first thoughts, the PS1 came out when I was still young enough that I don't really remember a time when Sony wasn't also a video game company.
Weird.
But I do remember a time when Sony, it was like, oh yeah, Sony, they do the PlayStation and the Walkman and stereos and stuff and TVs, and they were all kind of treated as equal stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just another thing in the catalog of stuff that they do.
Right.
Whereas these days, I feel like Sony is it's like, oh yeah, Sony Pictures and PlayStation. That's Sony.
That's so weird to me.
But yeah, because I mean, PS1 was what, 94?
In Japan. In America, it was 95.
So I was in first grade.
I see. I still remember Sony as the electronics company, and I remember the first time that I saw a Sony logo on a game was probably a Sega CD game, and to me that would have been about the equivalent of if somebody had handed me a Sega CD game with a Hoover logo on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's an appliance company. Is it? You gonna find some Maytag games back there? So it's just it felt incredibly strange. Of course, now it's ubiquitous and it's totally normal, but it was weird at first.
Yeah, I mean, Sony. The general consensus at the time, and in popular opinion, even when I was in the mid '90s, was like, yeah, Sony also does PlayStation, and they also do Walkmans and Discmans and TVs and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was in first grade when the PlayStation came out, so I got to be honest, I don't have a huge amount of memories from prior to first grade.
Pre-PlayStation, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, take us through the early days of Sony.
So we're going to start in 1927.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. So in 1927, the D. Gottlieb and Company was established by a guy named David Gottlieb and his brother Saul. You'll recognize he's the guy who invented the first sex box, and its name was Sony.
Perfect.
Now he made a pinball company. The Gottlieb Company is one of the pinball people. Yeah, one of the most well-known pinball companies. In '76, Gottlieb was acquired by Columbia Pictures, the film studio, who were in turn acquired by the Coca-Cola Company in 1982. We still have not made it to Sony.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So in 1980, Gottlieb released their first video game. It was called No Man's Land. It was an arcade game. It was followed by a few other minor successes over the following years. And in 1982, Gottlieb had their only really major video game success with Q*bert.
I've heard of this. He was starred in that movie Pixels with Adam Sandler.
Exactly, right? Produced by Sony Pictures. And so Coca-Cola renamed Gottlieb to Milestar or Milstar in '83.
They're just sticking to the weird words, huh? It's
right.
Just...
and they tried to adjust them to do entirely video games.
Yeah.
In '84, Milestar's pinball division was spun off and sold to Premier Technology, who then became the new Gottlieb Company and was the next wing of Gottlieb. So we can ignore that name going forward. And then
companies were just created, birthed, and then reabsorbed back into themselves.
Exactly.
It's good to know some things have never changed.
Right? The video game division, however, did produce a few more games through '83 and '84 before Coca-Cola just shut it down because they didn't want a video game company, apparently.
Just the idea of Coca-Cola in the '80s shutting down a video game company is funny to me.
So in '89, Columbia Pictures was acquired from Coca-Cola by Sony and became a division of Sony Pictures. And since then, the rights to the Gottlieb Milestar library have been held by Sony Pictures Entertainment. Sony Pictures has since not published any of its classic arcade games. They've not reissued them. They have not put them on anything. They've licensed them to a few companies. I think Q*bert made an appearance on PS1 at one point, but it was not from Sony. He also appeared in Wreck-It Ralph, and as you mentioned, Pixels. Pixels is a Sony Pictures production. And
I gotta be honest, the most exposure I've ever had to Q*bert is the movie Pixels.
It's depressing.
It is my primary touchstone for Q*bert related information.
If you look at the Dreamcast Q*bert game that came out, which I think was published by Atari for some reason, if you look at the copyright information on the back, it says Q*bert copyright Columbia Pictures, and then later down in the copyright it says Columbia Pictures copyright Sony Corporation. So it's just a very strange string of ownership there.
I, for years, just assumed Q*bert was an Atari property.
No, he is a Sony property, technically.
Had assumed it for years and years.
So what we'll learn in this journey today is that Sony is one of those companies with this really awkward, frustrating financial division between their divisions, that they are not allowed to work well with each other without paying each other.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but in the realm of giant corporations, it makes sense.
Yes. It's one of those corporation things where one division of the company can't use another division's properties without paying them.
Because they're technically separate companies.
Right. And so that's where Sony Pictures lies. So Sony Pictures video games is entirely Q*bert and also mobile games. They do make mobile games based mostly on their film and television properties. They have made a couple of spin-offs of their movies, but they also produce mobile games based on their game shows like Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and the $100,000 Pyramid, which are also all Sony properties now because Sony is a massive corporation. So it's the Sony Pictures side of things. Now we move on to Sony Music.
Great. This is when it gets less confusing, right?
No.
Is that when oh, geez.
So now we start in 1967. So Sony had formed a joint venture with the American media company CBS.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, the television network. Because CBS wanted an international business and Sony wanted more of a media presence. And so they formed this joint music publishing division that they called CBS Sony Records, later CBS Sony Group. And it would serve as the Japanese arm of CBS's labels like Columbia Records and Epic Records, and also form a new Japanese music distribution label.
Sweet.
And
that all sounds great.
Yeah. In the 80s, Sony, Japan, started to notice this whole video game thing was making some serious money, and they wanted to be in on that. So since they already distributed media in Japan through their music division, they were just like, well, let's just have our music division make games. So they started publishing Famicom games under the Epic Sony Records label of the CBS Sony Group.
Because again, they can't give it to an arm of the company where it makes more sense.
No.
Because they're separate companies.
Right. So you see a handful of Famicom games that are published by Epic Records in Japan. And those are the earliest Sony video games. And of course, that was a division of CBS Sony Group. Their first game was called Tokoro-san no Mamoru mo Semeru mo, which was developed by HAL Laboratories. That's a company we know.
Yes, we did an episode on HAL.
Yes, that's Iwata's company. And that game was published in 1987. So that's your first ever Sony video game. It was in 1987. And it was based on Japanese comedian Haga George Tokoro.
They wanted to have some Western appeal, so they gave him the nickname George.
Good old George. I tried to play this game, and it was too obtuse for me.
Yeah.
And so I tried to look up some footage of it, and even that was too obtuse for me.
Do you have to understand Haga George Tokoro's comedy to get it, perhaps?
I don't know, because I can't tell if he is an actual, being himself in the game, or if they just got his likeness and slapped it on some generic game. This feels like
well, if it's his likeness, the cover art looks like a fucking lemming with sunglasses.
Yeah, I can't tell what the hell is going on, and this feels like the worst game I've ever played from HAL. I will say that.
Yeah.
Which that's not saying a lot because their games are pretty fantastic. So that's not the highest bar to be their worst game.
Yeah.
So they did have some early minor successes, and then they looked to expand internationally. But they were only allowed to use the Epic Records name in Japan. So when they wanted to publish things outside of Japan,
wait. I just need you to know this information.
Okay.
Takayuki Haga, also known as George Tokoro, in the show Alf, the Japanese dub, he was Alf.
He also did the voice of Homer Simpson in the Japanese The Simpsons.
He's Japanese Alf.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Also, the fact that Japanese Alf and Japanese Homer are the same person is pretty amazing.
Well, Japanese Homer in the movie.
Oh, just in the movie?
It looks like he was only in the movie.
Ah, I see.
So he was Alf in Alf. He was Mikey and Look Who's Talking, and Mikey and Look Who's Talking 2, the Japanese dubs.
Look Who's Talking was a massive thing in America at that moment in time. For anybody who wasn't alive for Look Who's Talking, it was fucking huge.
It is insane. It is. There's these cultural moments that I have to explain to my daughter sometimes, and it's shit like this where like I had to explain to her that everyone saw Titanic, and she was like, "What do you mean everyone? You all watched it on Netflix?" I'm like, "No. There was no Netflix. Everyone saw it, even if you weren't supposed to, even if you weren't old enough, you had to see it. It was just it was the rule. Everyone went and saw it."
Yeah.
And Look Who's Talking is another one of those fucking movies where like it was fucking huge.
I didn't get forced to see Titanic till it was in the dollar theater at least.
Really? Well, you made it a few months then,
Yeah.
The budget for Look Who I know we're on a tangent. The budget for Look Who's Talking was $7.5 million, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It pulled in $297 million at the box office.
Also, for the record, Titanic, Sony Pictures.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm wondering who did Look Who's Talking too. Maybe it's just a whole fucking Ouroboros here. Let me see. Country Productions, TriStar.
That's owned by Sony Pictures, yes.
Fuck! It's just George Tokoro all the way down. I'm sorry. We're on a tangent.
Anyway, so yeah, at this point, Sony is wanting to expand their video games outside of Japan, but they can't use the Epic Records name, which is what they'd been publishing everything under in Japan, because they don't own the Epic name outside of Japan. They only own it in Japan. CBS still owned it in the West. So they needed a new name. And the name of their division was still CBS Sony Group. So they decided they would go by the name CBS Sony Group ImageSoft. Fortunately, they truncated it to CSG ImageSoft.
I assume at this point the company is only staffed by late 80s AI, because that's what it sounds like named all of this shit.
Right. So their first Western release under the CSG ImageSoft name was Super Dodgeball, which people will probably remember as one of the Kunio-kun games, released in 1989. And then Sony actually bought out CBS's stake in CBS Sony Group, and also, incidentally, all of Columbia Records and Epic Records in 1988. So shortly before they started releasing games outside of Japan.
Which for people that don't remember record companies, because they still exist, but they're kind of different now. Those are big companies. Columbia and Epic were a big deal.
Oh yeah, and they still are, but now they are called Sony Music.
Right.
So they bought out all of CBS's stake in all of that in 1988, so that they owned all of it as part of Sony Music Entertainment. And then they eventually renamed all of it to Sony Music Entertainment by 1990. But at least one international game was released under just the name ImageSoft. And I think it was Dragon's Lair on Game Boy, if I remember right.
I'm going to look it up.
And that was a weird release anyway, because for some reason, both ImageSoft and Ubisoft both released the game in the US at roughly the same time with the exact same cover art, just different logos on it. Don't know how that happened.
It says, so the title screen says CSG ImageSoft.
Okay, so yeah, they still had CSG at that point.
Yeah. At least on the title screen. Sometimes title screen is different than the box. I don't see a box here, so there's no telling.
So So they did go on to publish a handful of other games throughout the 16-bit era under the Sony ImageSoft name. So most of it was a bunch of film tie-ins, stuff like Hudson Hawk and Hook and stuff like that. But also CD-ROM trash like Sewer Shark and Make My Video.
Oh boy, Sewer Shark, you love that game.
Everyone loves Sewer Shark, Preston.
It's such a piece of shit.
Yeah. Outside of their licensed games and their shovelware, they did publish a handful of decent things. They did Solstice and Equinox, which are both pretty solid games. They published Chuck Rock, which for people who don't remember, that was also a thing for a minute. Everything had to be cavemen.
Yeah, it was cavemen for a little while there. We got a couple Flintstones reboots. We got
Bonk.
Got all the Bonk, all the caveman games. You know.
Yeah.
Really, I think the Flintstones reboots might have killed the caveman because they were later. They were later 90s.
Right. And for people who don't know, Chuck Rock was actually designed by Core Design, the same guys who went on to make Tomb Raider.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah. So Chuck Rock, I like to think, is part of the Tomb Raider cinematic universe.
Yeah. Well, they went from Chuck Rock to Climb Rock, and then they put boobs and guns on her, and so it's just all worked out.
They're so tired of looking at Chuck Rock's enormous gut that they were like, let's look at some butts for a while.
Let's look at something a little easier on the eyes.
Yeah. Also, Mickey Mania, that was another one that Sony ImageSoft put out.
Yeah.
Did pretty well. They continued to publish games on multiple platforms through 95, even after the release of the PlayStation. They were still publishing games on Genesis for a little while there and 32X. And then eventually...
I wonder if the PlayStation branch of Sony even fucking knew.
Eventually, yes. It took a while because eventually what was left of ImageSoft would get renamed to 989 Studios and be merged into Sony Computer Entertainment.
I remember 989 Studios. What?
A lot of sports games, and a handful of other games. I think they did Siphon Filter maybe and Bust a Groove.
I looked up their list of games and I saw MLB Pennant Race. And I thought it said MLB Pregnant Race. And I was like, I know what we're covering next week.
That was just Chuck Rock playing baseball.
As 989 Studios, yeah, Bust Groove, Cool Borders,
Cool
EverQuest. I'm probably thinking Siphon Filters is probably where I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Probably
that was one of Sony's big internal studios for a while. There was 989, but at first they were not allowed to use the ImageSoft team whatsoever. Because that was Sony Music, you couldn't touch that.
Do you think one day Sony just woke up and was like, "Hey, wait a minute, do we have two technically competing video game divisions? Should we combine these?" Like, I imagine some like fucking accountant or like receptionist somewhere is like doing books or like working on something. They're like, "Wait a minute. Did you guys know we have two video game companies?" Like, oh, shit, no. We smush those?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah. So now we get to the actual Sony video games that people know, Sony Interactive Entertainment. So
this has given me a lot of good fuel to when people are like, "Oh, I love Sony's video games." And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." Like Chuck Rock and Mickey Mania, Sewer Shark.
Cubert?
And they'd be like, "No, like God of War." And I'd be like, "No, is that like Cubert?"
Yeah.
Understand.
Is that a Cubert-like?
Anyway, I'm sorry. Sony video games.
Yeah. So yeah, the Nintendo PlayStation thing happened. Ken Kutaragi, blah, blah, blah. So now we have a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't allowed to use ImageSoft, so they needed a first-party studio.
Yeah.
And so they bought Psygnosis. They did have a bunch of third-party support early on, but they wanted something in-house. Didn't want to start over from scratch, and they couldn't use ImageSoft because accounting, so they went and bought Psygnosis. So Psygnosis, which eventually became known as Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, Liverpool-based studio, purchased in '93, known for Wipeout and Lemmings. And this gave them dual purpose of, one, they had an internal development studio, and two, they could appeal to Western audiences because they had a Western development studio.
Yeah.
The precursor to Sony Japan Studio was also formed around this time. They were mostly making Japan-only PS1 games, but they were around. They were making first-party games, but most of those games did not leave Japan and are not known at all outside of Japan. It's a lot of little rhythmy games and party games and stuff like that. And then game advertising prior to the PlayStation's release in general had been very mascot-centric. A lot of Mario versus Sonic and that kind of stuff. PlayStation didn't have a mascot. they didn't want to develop one in-house. That's expensive. So they
Yeah.
reached out to Sony Pictures' rival Universal Pictures, because
So
Universal
weird.
had just entered the video game industry themselves for some reason.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, Universal Pictures, do you want to help Sony make a mascot? And they're like, sure, whatever, but we're also not going to do it in-house. We're going to outsource it to this studio Naughty Dog that we found.
Mm-hmm.
And so Naughty Dog came up with Crash Bandicoot. And Universal also commissioned Insomniac. And Insomniac came up with Spyro the Bandicoot. Both early mascots for the PlayStation, neither owned by Sony.
Both now owned by Microsoft.
Right, because they were owned by Universal Pictures, who was absorbed into Vivendi, who was then merged with Activision, who was bought by Microsoft. Look, there's a lot of money changing hands here.
I picked up the Spyro and Crash trilogies
Mhm.
on PS4 because I
yeah.
found them cheap, and I
Yeah.
was like, all right, yeah. I mean, I bought them in my head. I'm like, oh, I'll get them for PlayStation. Those are like PlayStation games. They're like iconic PlayStation mascots. They
Owned by
were
Microsoft.
the PlayStation mascots. And then I was buying them, and I'd forgotten, and I was checking out, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at the front of the box and it said Activision, and I was like,
Yep.
it's fucking Microsoft games.
Yep, these are Microsoft games.
And it is so, what a fucking world,
Right?
man.
Yeah.
What a fucking world.
Yeah. Now,
Also,
now Sony owns Qbert and Microsoft owns Crash. What the fuck happened here?
I've no goddamn idea. But it always felt like, because Crash was very, Spyro 2, they were both very much like, these are Sony's mascots, and never owned by them.
Yeah, no, never owned by Sony.
Never once.
Sony did publish the games on PS1,
Sure.
but they did so under license from Universal Pictures.
Just so weird. You know,
Yeah.
the more you see how many movie companies are involved in this industry at this time,
Like Coca-Cola?
the like movie giant Coca-Cola, the more the weird obsession with like FMV and this is the combining of movies and video
Yep.
games kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes you wonder how much of it was pushed by movie boardroom executives being like, let's
sure, yeah.
combine these mediums.
Yeah. I mean, they already have these studios laying around.
Because the hardware in the games certainly never made any fucking sense.
Nope.
So the decision had to come from somewhere.
I'm trying to think of what other film studios were involved in games at this point, but it's pretty much all of them. Because Time Warner was making games.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox was making games.
Yup.
So, yeah.
And then a lot of companies are trying to get their licensed shit out there, and then when you're
Mhm.
licensing things, you gotta suddenly send it out to other companies, and so maybe we can just
Yep.
do shitty in-house FMV stuff with clips
Right.
of movies we already fucking own.
Yeah.
It kind of makes some, because for years now, I've been like, Saturn, can you please explain the weird obsession with FMV games for a few years in the early 90s? And you're like, no, I can't.
No.
And we've
'cause they were
talked
awful.
about doing an episode about that era,
Yeah.
and I think
But that
I'm
would
finally.
mean we'd have to play them.
That's true. That's true. I think I'm finally coming to the realization that it kind of was corporate fiat. It was movie companies saying, we already
Almost
own this
certainly.
shit and know how to do this shit. Can we just
Yeah.
do this and call it the
Right.
future of gaming? And the answer is, yeah, for about 16 months you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was Sony's stuff and there was Digital Pictures who did Night Trap and that stuff. And those were the two big ones fueling the FMV craze on early CD-ROM consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're both terrible.
Where were we?
Anyway, so the PlayStation did pretty well.
It did. Yeah,
sold,
people liked it.
sold all right. Sony capitalized by forming or acquiring several other studios.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the early first-party games that weren't from Psygnosis or outside developers were sports games. You had stuff like NBA Shootout and NFL Game Day, Jet Moto, Cool Borders, which are not exactly sports, but sports adjacent, extreme sportsy.
I've been told by people like that lived in the era, like you,
Yeah.
that the PlayStation was very much like the like non-gamers console. It was like
Yep.
it's the sports games. It's the people coming from like, where do I go after Genesis, where I'm getting all my
Yeah.
sports games and stuff,
Exactly.
and my like, I don't want to say mainstream, but my more mainstream games,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is always the weirdest profile of the PlayStation to me, because to people my age, the PlayStation was the dorky JRPG system.
Yeah, no, at the time it was known for sports games. It was known for Tekken, Twisted Metal,
Yeah, it was like the sporto mainstream violent teenager jock kind of video game console, and it's always so funny to me because I'm only a few years younger and absolutely know the PlayStation to me is the anime dork console,
right?
So they could play their JRPGs. That's what it was to me.
Which,
and
compared
still
to
is.
the N64, it definitely still is.
Yeah, definitely in comparison.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
so yeah, you did have some early original titles, which again were mostly outsourced, but stuff like Twisted Metal, Wild Arms, Ark of the Lad. But Sony did keep the IP from them at least, even though they outsourced the games. Which I don't know if they learned from Crash Bandicoot, or if they just for some reason chose to not own that IP. I don't know what dumb fucking decision that was.
No telling.
By the time the PS2 came around, Sony was working directly with developers like Naughty Dog and Insomniac to develop internally owned IP, which smart, makes sense.
What? Well, see, the company within Sony that makes the good decisions was tied up doing something else, perfecting.
They're busy trying to figure out how to not reboot Ghostbusters for 2 many years.
They were perfecting the Discman, and then they showed back up.
They're making the Wheel of Fortune Wheel Watchers Club.
Is that like Weight Watchers?
No, it's a thing where you get to go to a website and guess a puzzle once a day for a chance to win $5.
Oh, $5 you say?
Oh, $5 if you're lucky.
Oh man,
you'll probably only get 20 Sony rewards points.
Wild times. Yeah. Let's talk IP. Because you put together a nice little list here of things.
Yep.
And you did explicitly say, please don't read all of these. This is for reference.
Yes.
You put the important ones you said were important in bold, in red bold. I orange bolded a few of them that specifically ones that at the time were kind of a big deal and over time are kind of not that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
Big ones, obviously, Saturn has to highlight Lemmings, which I don't think was as big of a deal as he thought it was.
At the time? No, it was massive.
Really?
Yes.
I still, I feel like you told me this even on the Lemmings episode, and I'm still just like, Lemmings? Really?
We talked about on the Lemmings episode about how it was the highest selling PC game of that year and the following year.
Did I go, really?
Yes.
Okay.
You reacted the exact same way at the time.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And
it's
also,
a fun game.
It was massive on multiple platforms too. That's why it got ported to literally everything under the sun. And as far as things that were big at the time and kind of fell off, I would also throw Q*bert on there because it was huge at release.
Yeah. Twisted Metal, Gran Turismo were big, still are big. Twisted Metal just got a fucking TV show, and Gran Turismo still
getting
Gran
content.
Turismoing.
Yeah.
I put a few PS1 games in bold on here. Siphon Filter, Legend of Dragoon, and Ape Escape all seemed kind of like big deals at the time, but didn't really. They're not.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really. I mean, Legend of Dragoon never even got a sequel.
Nope.
Siphon Filter was kind of a big deal for a little bit.
Got a few sequels there.
Ape Escape was a deal.
For a minute.
It
was a neat tech showcase for the DualShock.
Other games that did, I don't know how popular they were at the time, but are definitely cult classics like Parappa the Rapper, Dark Cloud, big PS2 era stuff, SOCOM, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, God of War, obviously. I orange bolded Killzone here. Killzone was still a thing up through the PS4.
Yeah, I barely remember Killzone existing.
For people like me who do like the shooty gun games, it was like, oh, this is Sony's Halo. It never was Sony's Halo. But they wanted it to be, and for a hot minute, they tried for it to be. What else do we got here? I appreciate that you put What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord on here, because it's one of my favorite franchises. Other big stuff, Uncharted, Infamous, Little Big Planet, Last of Us, Astrobot now. Helldivers has become huge, even though the first game was just kind of a middle of the road.
I did not realize that Astrobot predated Helldivers.
Did it?
Yeah, because I put this in chronological order.
Oh.
And when I was looking through the list,
Helldivers?
Yeah, it predated the first Helldivers. There was a game called The Playroom that was the first Astrobot game, and it predated Helldivers.
Oh, yeah,
PS3.
I forgot about The Playroom.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Huh. What else is on here? Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, big stuff now. Heavy Rain, I orange bolded. That was a big fucking deal at the moment.
For a minute, yeah.
Nobody seems to give a shit anymore.
No. That's 'cause they
ATV
played
Off-Road
it.
Fury and MotorStorm were both kind of a big deal for a little bit there. ATV
Yeah.
Off-Road Fury in the PS2 era and MotorStorm in the PS3 era, and then
Right.
kind of ended up going nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, these
Now we
were
can all
all...
look forward to a marathon, right?
Explain to me again how that's a Sony thing, because they bought Bungie.
They bought Bungie.
And Bungie took Marathon with them.
Correct. Well, they always
That's-
owned Marathon.
Right, yeah. And it never left them. All right. Destiny is now first-party Sony, which is
It
still
is.
pretty big deal, you know.
Yep.
It's weird. Sony's never felt like they had a very coherent... I feel like the late PS4 and PS5 era, Sony's big win has been that the kind of games they want to offer feels kind of more coherent than it has in the recent past and possibly ever.
Yeah, it does feel like they've kind of settled into the big cinematic, story-driven.
They're like,
single-player
we are
games.
the third-person cinematic single-player experience company.
Yeah.
Microsoft is the bro-down Halo Forza company,
Call of
and
Duty.
then Nintendo makes Mario games.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's only just now, because especially in like the PS2, PS3 era, Sony felt kind of fucking all over the place.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
felt-
Up until the PS3, the PS1, PS2, PS3, they were everywhere.
And it felt like everyone I knew was like, oh, Sony's the JRPG console, but Sony didn't seem to...
They
I
had
don't
some. They had Wild Arms. They had
They
Legend
had
of
a
Raccoon.
few, but it's like they didn't seem to embrace it. They weren't like, let's bring in all the big, let's have our own first party JRPGs. That should be our bread and butter, you know, and that should be what we're doing. And they wanted to do this cinematic thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of didn't super work out, really. But it
Are you
feels like
telling me that Ark the Lad wasn't the biggest thing on PlayStation?
it was one of the fattest boxes on PlayStation.
That's true. Yeah.
It was a big ass fucking
Only
jewel
over here in
case.
the US. In other countries, it was not.
Oh, was it a split release over there? Or?
Well, in other countries, well, in Japan, it was each game was released individually,
Oh,
and I don't know that any other region even got them.
really?
We only got the
Interesting.
big ass collection here.
So it does feel like Sony just now in the PS5 era is like, no. We do AAA level cinematic third person adventure
Story-driven.
action games. Yeah. That's their fucking thing.
Yeah.
And kudos to them, because it is a coherent identity. And when you ask people like, hey, describe the difference between like these three, that's what you're going to get, is people being like, yeah, there's stuff like God of War and the Spider-Man, the Uncharted's of the world, the Last of Us's of the world.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima.
The
they're all
Horizon Zero
basically
Dawn.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is third person cinematic action
Yeah.
adventure games. Which granted, some of them are really fucking good.
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
will say, if you play too many of them back to back, you start to be like, am I just doing the same fucking thing with
Right.
like different clothes on?
Yeah, you got to stop. You got to take breaks. Play Astrobot
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. But it is interesting that they felt so fucking all over the place. It feels
Yeah.
like in the beginning with the PS1, they didn't want to have an identity. They didn't want to do the mascot game and do it the way everybody else was doing it, and then they had to.
But when you look at PS1 era Sony, it feels like it's still the stereo company selling a video game console, and they're just like, I don't know, whatever games you want to play on there. Well, which
Yeah.
ones are you going to make? I don't know.
Yeah, and like at least to me, and I know that a lot of people complain about Microsoft's first party lineup not being compelling because it is very Western centric.
Yeah.
But the first party Xbox identity has always seemed pretty coherent to me.
Yeah.
It's like the bro down FPS centric Halo, fucking like where dudes high five Limp Biscuit Monster Energy drinks. Like that's
Right, yeah. Where they down Dorito flavored Mountain Dew.
Not to call anyone out or make anyone feel like, because I love Xbox, but it that always felt like they're pretty coherent identity, and Sony was just like, I don't know, we're Japanese, and you're like, oh, do you have first party like JRPGs and stuff? That's like a big genre in Japan. Nah, we don't. We made a
We
couple.
got Parappa. Is
You like
that a JRPG?
Legend of Dragoon is basically Final Fantasy VII, so you
Yeah,
can play
it
that
is.
if you want to fucking do that. It's,
No, they had Wild Arms early on. That was their JRPG
True.
early.
Yeah.
And in Japan they also had Puebla Croy, which is JRPG adjacent at least.
Did we not get Pueblo Croy? I thought we got it on something.
Not for many years. I think we did eventually get one in like the PS3 era, but it was one of the earliest games on PS1.
I swear we got. I don't remember which one we got. I'm looking. The PSP one. That's why. Of course, that's why I remember it because I fucking. It's PSP.
That's what I'm saying. PS3 era.
Yeah. But still, it's really interesting to me that they never seemed to care about having a coherent identity, and now it seems to be what is floating the PS5 generation. This is where people are going to get their traditional cinematic action adventure experiences,
right?
Which I guess is my final thoughts, which is what we're dovetailing into.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a weird ride. For it to feel like Microsoft isn't sure what the fuck they want. Nintendo's been playing it too safe for too long, and Sony's just now figuring out what they want. Sony's like the person that like quits their job to like go back to school in their 40s. That's like, I finally know what I want, and you're like, hey, it's better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
Yeah,
it's been very weird.
And I haven't gotten a Q*bert in years, so I'm upset.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a sequel to What Did I Do? I haven't gotten a cinematic AAA budget action adventure sequel to What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord? So I'm equally upset.
I'm trying to imagine what a cinematic third-person Q*bert would be now.
I
like
just
to
regular
imagine
Q*bert, but really dramatic and has the slow motion thing.
I like to think that it's like washed up retired Q*bert trying to get back into the video game industry, but he can't because nobody plays his kind of game anymore.
Because nobody gives a shit.
But then when you get to the gameplay, it's just generic arcade Q*bert.
And every time he walks outside, people driving by are like, look, it's the guy from Pixels. And they throw their drinks at him as they drive by.
He curses at them, but he curses at them in Q*bert language.
Yeah. And someone's like, that's not Q*bert. You can't say that anymore, man. It's 2025.
And he's like,
I guess that's Sony. That's Sony.
Yeah.
That's all that Sony ever did.
That's all of it.
You're welcome for the complete history of
covered
Sony.
Everything from that first radio to the PlayStation Portal all in one episode.
I will say I would like to see Sony doing some first-party JRPGs again. I'd like to see their take.
Yeah.
I really would.
I just want to remaster Wild Arms. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
I'm the one.
Wild Arms seemed like one of those franchises that started rough and then got pretty good and then died.
I like the first one better than any of the others.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with the graphics of that one. It's very...
Oh, yeah. It's butt ugly, but I still love it.
Very fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what's not ugly is our Patreon at patreon.com/retrowarriors. It's so pretty. It's the prettiest Patreon page you've ever seen.
I have to say, Wild Arms was butt ugly, but compared to their older games like Sewer Shark.
That's true. Sewer Shark was offensive as a product. It was a product that offended me.
That's fair. That's the correct answer.
I would have wrote an angry letter if I got that for Christmas. Like, dear Grandpa, what the fuck is your problem?
What did I do to you? Dear Grandpa, what did I do to deserve this, my lord?
If I'm in your will, take me the fuck out. How dare you give me Sewer Shark and claim that it is a video game? Anyway, patreon.com/retrowarriors. We got stuff there. Stuff that the following people gave us money for, starting with Captain Koloff.
And David Allen.
Dean Schmidt.
My love for you is like a truck berserker.
David Zweihel.
Asher Abramowitz.
Matt Stone.
The New Craft.
Jordan Ish.
And Jonathan Meisner.
They all gave us money. Thank you so much for the money. Some of the people whose names we struggle to pronounce will message me on Patreon and be like, you said it right. Thank you so much. And then I always forget who it was, and then I'm sure I botch it the next time. So I feel extra bad because I got it right, and they were probably like, yeah, you said it right.
And then fuck it up the next time?
Fuck it up the next time.
That sounds right.
Because I have no memory. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week. And as always, let us cling together.